I'm so glad we all saw what I saw. Hey, it's Ali. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. And this past year has been so good for animated movies, and we're barely out of quarter 1. Now, I think we all were a little bit confused, a little bit perplexed, if you will, when the Mario movie first got announced, like all those years ago, because we were like, why, how, but mostly why. And then the trailer came out and we were like, okay, maybe. And then we all remembered that Chris Pratt was gonna play Mario, and we were like, and then we heard his voice and we were like, but everything else about the movie looked pretty good. But I was still perplexed on what the plot would be for a Mario movie. Well, it's out. I saw it. It is very amusing, and I have a lot of things to say. Also, Bowuigi in game, you already know. If at any time you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe, because I make videos like this all the time. And down below in the comments, let me know if you originally thought this movie was going to be good. Well, first of all, if you liked the movie, if you didn't like the movie, what you originally thought about the movie when the movie first got announced, when trailers came out, etc., etc. Let me know all that. Let's start a conversation and let's jump into it. So like I said before, we were all very perplexed about how what plot is going to be put into a Mario movie. Now, it doesn't mean that Mario hasn't had plot. If you didn't know, like, Mario has like RPGs. Paper Mario, which is an RPG, is like a completely plot heavy related, story related, because it's an RPG. But for something that is supposed to be the first Mario movie like ever, and that was clearly based off of the trailer, supposed to be Mario and Luigi getting sucked into this world, we were all a little bit confused on what the plot was going to be. And it seems like critics, despite the movie already being out, are still confused about the plot. Like, side note, I don't know what critics were like. The critic reviews are very funny, and I don't know what they were expecting like an OG Mario movie to be about. And what the plot, a lot of the critics are talking about the plot being paper thin, or that there is no plot at all, and that is like bad, I guess, for this movie. And obviously, like, I love this movie. I disagree with the sentiment that there is no plot at all. I do agree that the plot is very like thin, very easy to follow, and moves at a rapid pace. I do agree with those things. However, I don't think that necessarily that is bad in this case. You know what I mean? We live in a world, of course, where like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish literally just came out, Into the Spider-Verse Part 1, and well, the first one, and now Part 1 of the sequel is coming out, and it is very obvious that the bar is set high for a lot of animated movies, and especially when you have movies like the 5th Trolls movie that is coming out. That was a trailer that I saw. They're still making those movies for some reason, and it really, even from the trailer, it just seemed like it was going to be the same plot again from the last one. I didn't even see the last one, but I could just tell, just based off of the trailers, that it's going to be the same plot. And a million Minion movies and like Despicable Me movies, especially when Illumination is the one making these movies, yeah, I can definitely understand people's a little bit more critical about Illumination making a Mario movie and what that means, especially in this age of like animation. Like, I get it. I really do. Trust me, your girl. Literally look at my channel. All I do is talk about anime, cartoons, animation, all that type of stuff. That's like all that I do. Like, trust me, girl, I know when like something is like a little bit not up to par. But I think this is definitely leagues above a Minion movie, to say the least. Leagues way above a Minion movie. But obviously is not going to be The Last Wish or Into the Spider-Verse. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it needs to be profound. I don't think every kids movie, I don't think every movie, honestly, that comes out needs to be profound. I feel this way about superhero movies too, and I'll probably talk about this more when Blue Beetle comes out, because I feel like Blue Beetle is going to be the same way. I feel like it's going to be a fun movie. Does not necessarily mean it's going to be the best, most profound superhero movie in the world. And I think that's kind of where we're at with these sequels and making these types of movies that are based off of like old franchises instead of like making new ones. I think that like we are stuck in like this kind of like, it's either a Minions movie, which is obviously just a cash grab, or it is this deeply profound piece of artwork. And I'm like, it can't just be in the middle. I feel like this is a very good B-A tier movie. It's just like in the middle. It's not anywhere near a Minions movie. It's clear people put not that people didn't put time and effort into a Minions movie, because that's the thing too, is people be like, oh, Minions is a soulless cash grab. And it's like, yes, from a producer standpoint, Minions is a soulless cash grab. But from like an actual animator standpoint, those animators had to work. They worked, and they worked their butt off. So like, you can say a lot about Minions movie all you want to, but you can't say they look bad. they don't look bad. They actually look really good, which is probably why Minions is like such a big brand, aside from how kid friendly it is the fact that these movies look really good. And the voice acting is usually like really good as well. So with the Mario movie, like past like production and stuff, I don't think this was a soulless cash grab. I don't even think at the producer level this was a soulless cash grab, because there was no reason for this. It's not like Mario was some forgotten franchise that no one knew about, and so they made a movie about it to like sell merch. Mario's one of the biggest franchises in the world. They don't need to make a movie to sell merch. You know what I mean? Like, there's no point. Like, one of the criticisms some people had was like, oh, this is one big commercial for Mario. And it's like, okay, you could say that about like the Sonic movie, which was really good. You could say that about Into the Spider-Verse. You could say that about Puss in Boots. Like, anything that is a franchise, especially for kids, any like piece of media that comes out of it, of course it's going to be made, and then they're gonna make a really big profit off of like toy sales and stuff like that. That does not mean that this was a movie made to sell toys, to sell games, to sell whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't like that, because it just like, it undermines a lot of the work and heart that a lot of people had in this. And even the story, though it is like very thin in terms of its depth of plot, I feel like had enough there that it felt like, okay, someone put time and effort into the story, especially with Mario. Like, we're gonna get into the characters in a second, but I feel like I at least felt like the characters were put together well enough that I didn't feel like, oh, they just haphazardly slapped a story together. Like, no, they kept a lot of the original like things about it, but they didn't like, you know, dumb it down so much. Like, they did add some things to it that made like, I feel like the story feel a little bit more fleshed out. So yeah, that's my little rant about like the critics of this movie, because I absolutely adored this movie to pieces. I loved it so much, and now I'm just gonna gush about it for the next however many minutes. So please, like, if you want to know like how I feel about the criticisms of this movie, I'm not ignoring them, but I think also like this movie is leagues better than a Minion movie, and honestly that's mostly what I have to say. The Mario movie is fun. It's just fun. You're like seeing little kids in the theater go, Mario! Like, literally, we went on a Tuesday night at like 8 p.m. and like it was pretty packed. It was a pretty packed theater, first of all. It was not like it was spring break anymore for the kids in my area. Like, it's a pretty packed theater, and a lot of the kids were going, Mario! Oh my god, Luigi! And seeing the like grown man next to me when the little pipe thing went and he went haha. Like, it was just really fun. It's a fun movie. God damn, we can have no more fun movies. Remember Spy Kids? You know, fun movies. They're just fun. So let's talk about the characters. So of course we have to start off with the titular Mario. With the way that they set up Mario's character and Luigi's character, they set up a lot to be like iterated upon. Like, I will say this. If the next Mario movie comes out, because they're obviously going to make a sequel, if the next Mario movie comes out and it is the exact same, like plot-wise, depth-wise, like everything, like they're like, because people are like, maybe they'll do Mario Galaxy next or like whatever. I'm hoping for more of a Paper Mario situation that has a lot more like secondary characters or like whatever, like characters that are kind of one-off but are very important to the movie's plot or to that story's plot. That's what I'm hoping for. That may be too much of a deep cut for like little kid Mario fans, but like, who cares? Those games are still marketed towards kids, so like, you know what I mean? Kids can handle it, you know, don't underestimate kids. That's what I'm hoping for, though Mario Galaxy seems a lot more in the wheelhouse. Still, either way, if they make the same like choice here and not having too deep of a plot, that's when I will allow y'all to be like, see, I told you so, blah 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 blah. So, you know, mark this down and come back to me like a year later, or a year, more like a couple of years later, when the second Mario movie comes out, and we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see. But yes, anyway, Mario. So I love Mario's personality in this. Mario and Luigi's dynamic specifically, I was not expecting that much of like a heartfelt, like, oh, Mario, Luigi, they're brothers, they care for each other. Mario's like really protective over Luigi. Like, that was so cute. I was not like expecting that. And that gave them a lot more emotion and a lot more personality than I thought they were going to have. Like, each character had very like bombastic personalities. And I really love that. And even Mario, who is kind of like, you know, falls into the main character syndrome type of area, I feel like he had like a really big personality, and and they gave him flaws too, like one of them being that the fact that he feels like he needs to prove himself to everybody around him, especially his dad, which, like, come on now, I feel like that is very a very good step in the direction for his character. It makes sense for his character, because why else would you like willingly go and stay? Well, he didn't willingly go to the Mushroom Kingdom, but why would you willingly stay in the Mushroom Kingdom even after the fact of like everything? You could have just, you know, gotten your brother, and after that, you know, after those adventures, been like, we're never coming back. But he's still there. Girl, the only answer is daddy issues. Like, and they basically give him daddy issues to explain away the reasoning why he would like feel the need to be a hero in this case, and like kind of like prove everybody wrong. I found that really interesting, like a really interesting direction to take with his character. And I really like it because, again, it's not just having like Mario is just Mario. Like everybody else around Mario has a personality and like the games and stuff like that. But because Mario is like the main character and he's always the hero and stuff like that, usually those types of characters fall into the just like main character syndrome. Again, a blank slate just so you can put, you know, project onto them, because you're usually playing as these characters, so you don't have, the main character doesn't really usually have in these games have much of a personality. So the fact that they took a direction, like a strong direction with his character, I really, really like that. Of course, I love that he has a hatred for mushrooms, because come on now, y'all, if y'all watched my last video or any of the videos that I've done recently, I feel like in every video in the last like 3-4 videos that I've done, I've talked about mushrooms at least once. And Mario hates mushrooms. I hate mushrooms, even though I have mushrooms painted on my face. Look, mushrooms are cute to look at. Actually, not even, actually. I don't like the way fungus looks either. But mushrooms, cartoon mushrooms, are very cute to look at. Very, very cute to look at. Real life mushrooms, gross. Slimy, disgusting, gross. So Mario, me and him are on the same page with that. And I love that they keep that up, and I hope they keep up that little like thing going for him, that he just doesn't like mushrooms. No matter how many times he eats them, he just doesn't like them. I like that. I really hope they keep that up. I hope that becomes a running gag for the rest of the movies. There were a lot, and I do mean a lot, of Easter eggs in this movie, which ended up being a lot of people's like criticisms, that they feel like that people feel like that adds like an argument to their criticisms, like, oh, there's so many Easter eggs in it that it was just pretty much a movie full of Easter eggs and nostalgia and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like yes and no. Like, yes, I get that it's like, that wasn't like the main thing, right? It fit really seamlessly into the world, and it kept your eyes like attentive. Like, you know, I didn't feel like bored at any time during the movie, because there was always something to look at. Like, if I had to say that any part of the movie dragged on, it was the kart race scene. But even then, like, it was cool because the kart race scene was very reminiscent of like actual like Mario Kart races. So that was probably the longest one shot and the whole, like, not one shot, but like the longest scene in the movie, aside from like the Donkey Kong scene. And like that, like, it didn't feel like I was bored. I was never bored. The music choice was a little boring during that time, because there was no, like, there was very little Mario music playing during that scene. It was just like battle music playing, so that was like a little bit of a choice. But like visually, I was not bored at all, and what was happening on screen, I was not bored at all at any point during this movie. But yeah, I like that they took a lot of Mario's movesets, especially the Smash Brothers movesets. That I was not expecting. Like, Donkey Kong did it and Mario did it like a lot in terms of like the Smash Brothers movesets, because a lot of the Smash Brothers movesets are taken from the games, but then they're added like a little bit of a twist. And so the fact that they took specifically the Smash Brothers movesets and then put them into this, like, it felt nice. It looked nice. It had a lot of like really good like choreography in terms of the battles and stuff like that, and the music playing at the same time. There's just so much Mario music in this like movie. I almost said, how did they get the license to this? And I realized they made this in conjunction with Nintendo, so like duh. But anyway, there's so much music. The music is so good. The music is so, we'll get more into that when I talk about Bowser, but like the music was so good in this, and the movesets, the choreography, it was good. It was great. It was fun to look at. What can I say? What more can I say? I like that. And it's like something that obviously kids are going to enjoy because it's cool movements and blah, blah, blah. And even if you didn't play Smash Bros or know anything like that, it's just the level of detail. That's what I wanted to say. Sorry, I was like trying to figure out what I was trying to say. The level of detail that went into everything, including Mario's movesets, the designs of the characters, the way that they speak, the designs of the worlds, which I thought was really cool. but specifically Mario's movements, the way he speaks, the way he talks, all of that, like there's so much attention to detail here that it doesn't feel, again, like, oh, we're just throwing this in for the sake of like an Easter egg that we hope that adults watching the movie will catch. Like, no, it felt like really truly we analyzed this character. Smash Bros is probably the perfect thing to do that, because Smash Bros probably has him like doing things the most, if that makes sense, like in terms of like moving around, even in like story modes and stuff. We analyze this character and now we have something to present, and I feel like that is very, very good. Very good. Okay, Chris Pratt as Mario. He was fine. He was literally fine. He was good, even great, I would even say. Y'all forget that Chris Pratt is a voice actor. I forgot that Chris Pratt is a voice actor, and he does know how to voice act. So it's not like it was just Chris Pratt doing Mario. It actually felt like a specific Mario voice. Okay, so I get it. I get it. And they also brought the original voice actor for Mario to be Mario's dad and the original Jumpman, which I thought was really cute. That was cute. This is a case though of like Victorious syndrome, I'm gonna call it, because it's like where the main character is the least talented out of the bunch. Like, it's not that he was bad, it's that everybody else around him was so much better. You put him in a movie with Jack Black, I don't know what to tell you, and Charlie Day for that matter. Speaking of which, let's talk about Luigi. Oh, Luigi. Luigi has always been baby girl status. That has been my word of the year so far, is baby girl. Luigi has always been baby girl status, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I am new to the scene. Until like I knew about the whole Bowuigi like ship thing, I didn't know about how much y'all really baby girlify Luigi. And it's not until like I know about like all the like meme fan art of like Luigi and stuff, but like it's not until very recently that I knew, and I was open, my eyes were opened to Luigi, baby girl Luigi. Luigi was so good in this movie. Oh my god, he was the best character. And in fact, my only main criticism of this movie is that there wasn't more Luigi. Like, I talked to everybody, and a lot of people said that like, oh, there's not a B plot to this movie, and I actually agree. A lot of my mutuals were talking about that, and we thought the B plot was going to be Luigi being in like Luigi's mansion, because that is a part in the movie, like a very small part in the movie. And so we thought that, oh, that was going to be the B plot of the movie, and it's going to switch back and forth to that, because it's clear that Luigi has like, even though he's been trapped by Bowser, I thought the B plot was going to be him also like getting out, like trying to escape Bowser on his own, because his personality and his character development clearly aims towards him being more needing to learn to be brave and like stuff like that, because that's always been Luigi. But no, that didn't happen. He was just the damsel in distress the whole time, and then he got saved. He did help out in the end, like in terms of the fight, but like it still was great. Like every scene that Luigi was in was great. Because Charlie Day did such a good job as Luigi. Luigi's just Luigi, you just want to pinch his cheeks. You just want, like, it is so clear that Luigi is the favorite child. It is so funny. And I love the little dynamic of like the entire family, Luigi and Mario's family, thinking that Mario is bringing Luigi down. Like, that is favorite child syndrome right there. Oh, because what? When I said that, I was like, oh my god, family drama? Like, what is going on? But yeah, I love that, and I love that Luigi like doesn't falter. I hope that they don't go that route of like Luigi being like, yeah, actually you are holding me back, and I'm gonna do this on my own, and blah blah blah. Like, they can still make him be like, I want to do something on my own without like hating Mario for it. Like, I don't know, maybe it's an easy route to go down, so they might go down that road. But like, yeah, anyway, there was not enough Luigi in this movie, like, at all. Speaking of Luigi, y'all, we may have gotten Bowuigi crumbs, but they were definitely there. They were definitely there, because there was no reason why that whole time, the short conversation that Bowser and Luigi had, you remember in my TikTok that I said that has been making its round again lately because of this movie coming out, about how I think that the animators know. Half of the animators, apparently, or half of the people that worked on this movie are Twitter artists. Oh yeah, they definitely know. They definitely know. So speaking of the king himself, let's talk about Bowser. Bowser has always been my favorite character in Mario. Bowser and Bowser Jr. always have been my favorite characters. And let me tell you, when we found out that Jack Black was going to be Bowser, I think that is when I was like, oh, this movie's at least going to be fun. Like, if it's going to be nothing else, it's going to be good to look at and fun in the sense that like I'm gonna enjoy Jack Black being Bowser. And we should have known if you're gonna get Jack Black and to be in your movie, he has to sing. Like, I feel like that's like a contract in his contract that he signs for any movie that he is in. It's like whatever movie he's gonna be in, whatever project he's gonna be in, he has to sing. He has to sing and or dance. That is just like the law. It's the law when you hire Jack Black. It just is. It just is. And the song, I remember looking at the screen like, but like in a good way. I was like just so pleasantly surprised and like taken back. Me and my friend were sitting there like, this is like the best day ever. Like the best night ever. I was so tired. I was thinking about not even going, but I was like, I literally had a free ticket. I was like, if I don't go to this movie right now, like I'm gonna go. And I'm so glad I did, because if I lived in a world where I didn't know that Jack Black as Bowser sung Peaches, I don't know what I'd do with my life. I don't know what I would do with my life. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Like, that is literally like, I forget everything else about his character. But no, honestly, I love the fact that they kept that Bowser's motive for like being evil was just wanting to marry Peach. I love that they leaned into it even, because I was scared that they were going to kind of change it up, especially since Peach wasn't the damsel in distress this time. But the fact that they took it and then ran with it and then leaned into it so heavily to the point where like Bowser being so like insecure about everything, and that his whole team of like people are like, we're gonna help you out, bud, we're gonna be your wingman in this situation. I loved that. It was so fun and such a joy. Like, every time Bowser was on screen, I was happy. Like, no matter what, his expressions were really good. And Jack Black as Bowser, come on now. I really want to know though how they're gonna give him kids. Like, is he just gonna show up with kids in the next movie and be like, I have like 10 kids now because girls love kids? Like, that would be such a funny bit. It'd be like, girls love kids, women love kids, duh, so I got 10 of them. All right, so Peach, my girl Peach, girl boss queen slay, duh, but not too much girl boss queen slay. I think that one of the biggest things I saw especially when the trailer came out, before the movie came out, was that people were concerned that Peach was going to be too much girl boss queen slay, because that is something that a lot of like out of touch production companies seem to do. But I am here to say, if you were worried about that and you haven't seen the movie yet, I'm here to say it does not go that way at all. I think that one of the things though, Peach will always be a girl boss queen slay because she is a queen slay. She's literally a queen. She's a princess, queen, whatever. Like, you know, she takes care of her toads. She cares for her toads, and she can also fight. I love that they kept her in the dress for like most of the time, because she fights literally in Smash and like everywhere else. Every time she is a playable character, she's in her dress. The only time that she's not is when she's in a race outfit for Mario Kart, which obviously makes sense. Everybody's in like a little bit of different outfits for that. And her outfit for that as well was girl boss queen slay. So there wasn't too much girl boss queen slay, which was great. Which was really great. She felt more like Princess Bubblegum to me, in the sense that like she obviously cares for her people. She cares for her kingdom. You know, she loves them. They love her. Well, Princess Bubblegum not so much, but anyway, obviously she cares for her kingdom. She's very smart and she's very independent, but that doesn't take away from her femininity, which is something that a lot of like production companies seem to not be able to get right, video games or otherwise. When you have a woman in power, she has to be big and burly. She cannot just be feminine and also queen boss girl slay, which is also why I'm excited for the Barbie movie. Also felt like the romance between her and Mario was very, very nice. It was very subtle. It was very cute. They just flirted with each other the whole time, which I think I love a lot better than trying to fast forward their relationship. It was just like flirting the whole time, which it was adorable. It was adorable. Mario saying he's gonna buy her a turtle, like, that was cute. I don't care who you are. That was cute. That was cute as hell. And then at the end, when they tried Bowser in the jar, he said, see, I told you I'd get you a turtle. And I was like, that is the smoothest thing in the world. That was Riz. That Mario had Riz in this movie. Okay, lightning round, because I'm running out of time. The Toads. Toad was very cute. I think he did a very, 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 very good job at doing his voice and not sounding annoying, because I know people love doing the Toad voice, but it's always so shrill and usually annoying, and it's funny for like 5 seconds, but imagine having to hear that for a 90-minute movie. Yeah, no. So I think he did a really good job at like still having the Toad voice, but not making him too annoying. And I feel like that's also really hard on the pipes to be doing that voice for an extended period of time. But I'm glad they were able to find a happy medium there. Donkey Kong, Seth Rogen. Donkey Kong did the Seth Rogen laugh twice, and I laughed twice. It is, I don't know what it is about the Seth Rogen laugh. It is so funny. I feel like that's also in Seth Rogen's contract when you hire him, is that he has to do the Seth Rogen laugh. Like, that is law. He has to do the Seth Rogen laugh, and each time it was funny. Also, Donkey Kong being a himbo, duh. Like, I don't know, like, what else we were expecting. Of course Donkey Kong's gonna be a himbo. Okay, and then the visuals were great, obviously. I like I said, you can say a lot about Illumination movies, but you can't say they look bad. Illumination was great. This is actually a step above most Illumination movies, I would say. Like, this was, like, really well done. A lot of people compare this to, like, people who didn't like the movie compared it to a tech demo, because once again, you can't say that the movie looks bad because it looks amazing. Everything looks so good, so you can't even say that it looks bad. But I do agree that, like, if you know, future movies decide they just want to be a tech demo, then all right. But, like, this one, I felt like there was just a lot of, like, heart put into it. Seeing a lot of, because, like I said, a lot of people who worked on this movie are Twitter artists. So I see a lot of people posting that, like, hey, I did this on the movie, and I worked on the background for this, or I worked on the character design for this and that, and blah, 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 blah. Speaking of which, the visuals, I forgot Peach's Girl Boss Queen Slay. Her outfits, Girl Boss Queen Slay. Every time it ate every time. And last thing I want to mention before I wrap this up, the 80s music that was in here was very reminiscent of, I know this has been a really hot topic of, like, the subway surfers being attached to, like, TikTok videos to, like, keep people engaged, because our attention spans are literally dying and shriveling up. They're non-existent. So it's really funny that I felt like the 80s music in this movie was like that version, the boomer version of that. I feel like this is all the grandparents, because we're at that stage now, who took their grandchildren to go see this movie. This was like their subway surfers. Like, every, like, 20 minutes or so, they'd play, like, a random 80s song, and then that, like, I mean, it fit a lot of the time. It was just unnecessary, especially considering that all the Mario music in this movie was, like, so good. So having random licensed music was just random, unless it was, again, used for the adults or the elderly in the audience who maybe are getting a little bored because they don't really care about it. So I just found that really funny, because I was like, this is the Subway Surfers for boomers. Anyway, yeah, that's it. The Mario movie was fun. It was a delight. It was a joy. I really hope that they take this somewhere and they don't just, because obviously we're getting a sequel. You see how much money this movie has made? Like, we're getting a sequel. But I hope that when we do get a sequel, it is not just this again. You know, I like, we set a good foundation. Now let's push it further. Like, I feel that way about the Sonic movies. Like, I feel like the first Sonic movie was good, the second Sonic movie was even better, and I feel like we can keep going, especially, like, we're easing into, like, the deep lore stuff of Sonic, because now we're at, like, Shadow, I think, for the third movie. Oh, we could go in. We could. So, like, I'm hoping for the Mario movie as well. We have a nice, good foundation layer. You hit it off with a bang. Let's keep going. Let's keep the ball rolling. Don't just do the same thing again. Because I don't want to be wrong. I care about being right more than I care about the fact that this is a soulless cash grab. Anyway, thank you so much for watching all the way into the end. If you did, you are a real one. Let me know what your favorite part was. My favorite part was Bowuigi. The Bowuigi crumbs we got. I'm lying. It was honestly, any of the fights were really nice. The Donkey Kong and Mario fight felt like a Smash Brothers fight, which is funny because I think it was supposed to feel like, I feel like it was supposed to be a mix between Smash Brothers and, like, the original Donkey Kong. So I thought that was, it felt like a nice mix of that. So I thought that was really cool. But let me know down in the comments below. You can catch me on all my social medias. They are linked down below. The best places to reach me are Instagram and Tumblr. Those are the best places. So you should absolutely follow me, because also I make TikToks and Reels sometimes, but I post them literally everywhere. So if you don't have a TikTok, don't worry. I also post them, the same content, on YouTube and Reels. Go check out my video about short form versus long form content. Anyway, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.